Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Fusion of Honor, where we cover everything that happens on MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. Now, we have some good big news happening out of this week's Ring of Honor episodes. We have we find out who exactly is the third person in the MLW draft. So we're gonna get straight to it, but I can't do this by myself. It's a two-man show. Two-man team, and I got to introduce my tag team partner. He is the three-time baby-making champ. This is Ness. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
Doing mighty fine on this lovely evening. True Hills, what is the deal? This was a very, very good episode of not only Ring of Honor, but Women of Honor as well. We'll definitely get into that because I'm a little bit of a mark for one of these contestants in this match, but like I said, when we get there, well, definitely I'll give my thoughts on that.
Yeah, guys, and before we get into all of that, remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We are trying to do big things as we grow all of our numbers, and you can help us out with that if you are not already subscribed. So let's talk about, we're always trying to gain new subscribers. We're always trying to bring people into the team. So let's talk about who MLW has added to their team with this third round of the open draft. One name known to a lot of people. One name not as well known to a lot of people, but both of them are going to show up and show out going forward in MLW. And we are talking about the Luchador Aramis and Lee Moriarty. Both of these guys are pretty decently known talents. I mean, Aramis probably not as well known to American audiences. If you follow Lucha Libre a lot and you get down to the nitty gritty, you probably know him. You've probably seen him. When they talked about him during the video, Alicia Toot was saying that there's comparisons between him and I think no, not comparisons. She was saying that Conan was somebody who's spoken very highly of him and has been trying to recruit him and bring him into the States. So that's going to be a big coup for MLW. And then, of course, we have Lee Moriarty, who most recently there was some talk that maybe he was going to be going to WWE. He had a WWE tryout. There was a back and forth. I think he got involved trying to clear the air on some of these issues. But I'm kind of excited to see this guy, both of these guys, join MLW, particularly Lee Moriarty. And, I mean, both of them, really, they both enhanced that middleweight division pretty heavily, considering that middleweight division doesn't have that many people. We saw Myron Reed going up against Leo Rush. Myron Reed got his title back, but now he needs to know who he's going to defend it against. And just like that, we have two potential people for him to face. So, Ness, what are your thoughts about the signings of Aramis and Lee Moriarty to MLW?
Again, two great pickups. I'm loving the fact that these guys will more than likely specifically be in the middleweight division because, again, it's kind of thin at this point. Aramis being spoken highly of by Conan, a Lucha Libre legend, in itself, that's a huge feather in his cap. Lee Moriarty, definitely a huge name on the indies. Definitely, he just had a banger with Leo Rush. So this is great, and we could always use more people to MLW and for the middleweight division because, in my opinion, that's definitely the heavyweight division. The top of the ranks is always going to be top heavy. They're always going to have people in the main event and things of that nature. You need a solid mid card for any company. I think the solid mid card is the bread and butter of any company, any promotion that that's just always going to work and it's always going to have people invested within the promotion itself. So these are definitely two very great major pickups for MLW.
Agree completely. First week, they got a big name in Davey Richards. The second week, they helped to fill out that heavyweight division. Now they're looking towards the middleweight division. Love to see it. And I want to see how exactly all these people are going to be slotted in. You got to have winners, you got to have losers. That's something that we always have to have in wrestling. And just like that, we have winners and losers this week when it comes to Ring of Honor. So, a couple weeks ago, we had that battle royale. PCO had his malfunction. Everything, went according to plan, sort of, for Danhausen, but not really. And at the end of it, we were left with two men standing, Joe Keys and LSG. And we knew that they were going to face off against each other at a later date. we were talking about when exactly that might be. Well, it turns out it is going to be this week. It is going to be on this episode of Ring of Honor, and they are starting us off. And the promo videos did a really good job, I think, of, at least from the LSG perspective, of establishing that he's not really a heel, but he's not really a face. He is kind of in that tweener area, and respect was shown throughout the match, but each guy brought it. I think they both did a really good job. LSG picks up the win, and later in the episode establishes that he is going to be going for the pure title. So LSG is going to be in the pure division. We're just trying to find more and more people for Jonathan Gresham to have to tap out, and I love it. You got Freddie Yehi in one hand, you got LSG trying to come up as well. It's a really good situation if you are in the pure division. I mean, maybe not for Gresham. There's multiple targets on his back, but you got to sink or you got to swim. So far, Octopus has been able to swim, and in this match, LSG showed why he could be a really strong contender for the pure title. He was all over the place when it came to Joe Keys, trying to just smother him, and it worked to a certain extent. Joe Keys was trying to, and they talked about this during the match. At the end of it, there was only really one rope pick that was used, so it worked for what could be a teaser for LSG in the pure division. But Ness, what did you think about this one?
This was a good opener. I like this match a lot. It was basically the resiliency of LSG versus the power of Joe Keys, because there was the one spot where I think the move was going to be like the honor roll, where, he does like the front handspring into the clothesline, and then Joe Keys just caught him in here with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. I said, wow, that was beautiful just to see it, and then again actually realizing what was going on. That takes a lot of power to catch someone, spin them, and then slam them down, whether it be on the mat flat or across their knees. But there was a lot of back and forth action. I believe that LSG needed this win, definitely, to push his character. As far as Joe Keys, he was someone established on the indies, but then they played up on commentary where, now he's back in the dojo, and he's basically being rebranded. So he's pretty much what we know as the young lions in New Japan, back to the the black trunks and the black boots, and regaining an identity, versus LSG, who knows who he is and knows what he stands for, and now he's putting some respect on the idea of the foundation and going into the pure division. So he said he respects what Joe Keys does, who's under the tutelage of Jonathan Gresham, the pure title holder, one of the pillars of the foundation, one of the pillars of Ring of Honor currently. So all of that basically builds up into the respect and what Ring of Honor, the idea of what Ring of Honor is and what the foundation stands for. So who knows, at some point we might see LSG on the side of the foundation, from the way he was talking it up and bigging these guys up. But at this point, I want to see how he fares in the pure division. Like we said, this match pretty much was like a pure division match. These guys didn't throw any closed hands. There wasn't any underhanded tactics. It was just straight wrestling, and there was only one rope break. So if he can go into a pure match against whoever it may be with the same mentality and can show up the same way, he should fare extremely well in the pure division.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And speaking of the pure division, we saw on this week's episode of Ring of Honor Week by Week, we saw Fred Yehi get that match against world famous CB. He did tap him out. So this is going to be interesting. It's the Yehi kind of versus LSG to see who is going to be kind of the next contender. They're jockeying for position now, because we don't know where exactly LSG is going to pop in on the rankings, but it's gotta be somewhere high in order for there to have been some kind of reward, a real reward for this battle royale. But speaking of rewards, Silas Young wants all the rewards in the world, because he feels as though he definitively beat Josh, the so-called Woods, when he beat him with a little bit of chicanery, a little bit of intelligence. Let's give the man his due, but a little bit of chicanery. And we cut to him having a backstage interview with Quinn McKay where he talks about the win. We kind of knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Josh Woods comes up and says, "This was a tainted win. I hate you." And he was like, "This is ridiculous." And Silas Young, says, it's not my fault that you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Like I tried to teach you. You didn't want to learn. But if you think you're this hot stuff after I've already beaten you, why don't we do it in a pure rules match? And Josh Woods loses his mind laughing because he's like, how are you gonna beat me in a pure rules match? I want to see that. And so Silas is saying, well, we can see it. We can do this. So it's an interesting twist on the tail because you would think that the heel, like you were saying this on our previous episode, the heel already won. Why does he need to give the face another match? Well, now we're seeing a little bit of overconfidence maybe from the heel, and maybe Josh Woods is going to be able to capitalize on that. But either way, we're going to be getting them in a pure rules match, which leads us to our main event. This is a match we have been expecting for some time. Even before it was announced, we kind of had a feeling that these two guys or groups were going to clash. It was bound to happen, as Jay Lethal said during the promo video. We're talking about the 4 members of the Foundation locking up with the 4 members of VLNCE UNLTD. And this was a match. This was a match. And I think one of the best parts of this match was having Kenny King on commentary, because it just made sure to keep in your mind that LFI is still out there and LFI is waiting. LFI is biding its time. And Kenny King had some great lines. Had some great lines. When he was talking about the tag titles, and I think it was Riccaboni brought up, Caprice brought up the Freebird rule. Riccaboni says, don't tell them anything. Like, don't give them more stuff to work with. Kenny King has the bright idea to say, well, I mean, if we did do it under Freebird rules, we'd never lose. And he goes, but I don't think they know those rules because it's not in Spanish. And that was a great line. But I also liked Caprice and Ian Riccaboni holding him to the fire and keeping him honest and saying, you're trying to run down these guys in the ring, but both of them have titles because of you. Hot Sauce can't get the TV title unless you lose, and they couldn't. And Hot Sauce and Rhett couldn't get the tag titles if it hadn't been for you and Bestia. So it's kind of your fault in a weird way. So Kenny is still trying to manipulate the words, but while he's doing that, in the ring is a beautiful car crash of a match. It was violent. That was what they were going for, and it worked out really well. They are continuing to harp on this storyline, and I love it. At what point, how far do they need to go to force the Foundation to stop being honorable? Because it's interesting. Both groups, they keep repeating this as well, both groups are trying to bring honor back to Ring of Honor. They're just doing it in different ways. Now, for VLNCE UNLTD, they're saying, well, we're going to push you. We're going to push you to your absolute limits. Maybe we're not going to do it through cute holds and little submissions and try to tap you out. We're going to do it by ramming your teeth down your throat. And Foundation is saying, well, you can't ram my teeth down my throat if you can't move. So let's figure out how we're going to do this. And they go at it. Homicide is kind of an MVP of this match in a way, because this is really one of the first matches we've seen back from him. And he doesn't look as though he's missed too much of a step. He might have slowed down a little bit, but that hard-hitting ability is still there. But if you're not going to give the MVP to Homicide, which I could see why, you got to give it to Chris Dickinson. Chris Dickinson was all over the ring in this match. He was hitting everybody as hard as he could and all over the place. And Tony Deppen, not bad. Like, he's starting to really get into that groove. He's still, I don't know if you noticed, he's still like a little awkward when they're doing the promo.
He doesn't really fit, like, not that he's getting there, but he still has a long way to go. Like, yeah. I don't want to say I don't take him seriously, but standing him next to Brody King and Chris Dickinson and Homicide, like those are killers. He's not a killer, not yet anyway. But he'll get there.
Two guys who are known as killers in a sense are Brody King and Jay Lethal, and we see the finish of this match where Jay Lethal tries to go for a lethal injection, and Brody King catches him, comes down underneath and catches him, and then in a weird, I don't know how he didn't drop him, weird like counter reversal, gets him into a pile driver position, drops him, covers him for the 1-2-3. They win the match. VLNCE Unlimited strikes the first blow in our real faction warfare now that we have the established factions, and they are rubbing it in Foundation's face. They kind of drag Jay Lethal to the middle of the ring. They stand over his body. They dare the other members of Foundation to get into the ring and do something about what they have done to Jay Lethal, but the Foundation are unable to do so until eventually VLNCE Unlimited lets them get the carcass of Jay Lethal back. So tell me what you thought about this match. What were your favorite spots? I know you love car crash matches.
Oh man,
so go for it.
The fact that you described this as a beautiful car crash, that's exactly what this was. It was just so much going on in this match. The main thing that I loved was just how everyone was in and out of the ring. So many potential matchups we can get, whether it be one-on-one or tag matches. I definitely love Tony Deppen. I'm sorry, not Tony Deppen. Homicide versus Jonathan Gresham. We got two ends of the spectrum right there. And then there was a point where Homicide was like, Jonathan Gresham, I want to shake your hand. John Gresham's like, fuck off. I'm not falling for that. I already know what you're all about. You're not gonna catch me with that. And then Chris Dickinson versus Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. That's definitely a singles match that I need to see. It's just so many matchups. And then another unsung MVP in my opinion in this match was Red Titus. He had his nice little hot tag, and then he's just going all over the place and all over the place, and literally took out every member of VLNCE Unlimited. But I would love to see him up against Chris Dickinson too, because those are two catalysts in this match, in my opinion, that did the most damage for their respective teams. So again, it was a lot going on. I believe that the Foundation might have been the better team in a sense, because I believe that they worked together, but it just seemed like VLNCE Unlimited got the win. They picked the win up. So when it came down to the finish, when Jay Lethal was going for the lethal injection and he, bounced off the ropes, Homicide took the blow of, the handspring. That kind of messed up the equilibrium of Jay Lethal, because you're not expecting to hit a person, you're just expecting to hit the ropes, and then bouncing back. That's when he got caught by Brody King, and then that's where the finish of the match came. So all in all, it was a great main event. Those plates that we talk about, they're forever spinning. There's just so many ways that they can go with this, and I'm here for any which way they go, any which way. I don't care who sets it up. Since that they got a victory, this could potentially, now I would like to think that VLNCE Unlimited probably has a shot at the tag titles. I would like to think maybe a shot at the pure title. Who knows? But I definitely want to say that they should have a shot at the tag title, specifically for the fact that it was multi-man match. You would think that would be some implications. It wasn't a pure match. I don't really see these guys in the pure division, but stranger things have happened. Who knows? But definitely, I think they've earned themselves a shot at the tag titles with this victory for sure.
That's what's going to be really interesting, because in the beginning of the episode, our Foundation Tag Team Champion said any tag match going forward, because we won our first one. And now we were able to declare the stipulations. Every match going forward is going to be a pure rules match.
That is true.
So
I forgot about that. So now it's going to be pure, regardless if it's against Jonathan Gresham or against Red Titus and Tracy Williams. It is pure rules involved. So that's going to be funny to watch. Violence Unlimited try to follow the pure rules, but I doubt it.
All that the foundation has to do is get past Roosh and Dragon Lee, who are going to be getting a tag title shot in, I think it's next week. It might be next week or the week after. But we're talking about these singles matches that you want to see. Well, guys, we now know, thanks to Ring of Honor Week by Week, our first announced match for Best in the World. It's going to be one of these people against each other. It will be Brody King versus Jay Lethal in a first time ever singles match. This is going to be huge, especially because of how this match ended. Yeah. It is going to be huge. But we talk about plates. We talk about plates a lot. And one of the plates that has been continuing to spin is, where exactly does Shane Taylor Promotions go moving forward? Now, we had on a previous episode of Week by Week a match between O'Shea Edwards and Sledge. It was a no count out, no disqualification match. O'Shea Edwards picks up the win, and we see him now this week heading in the back. He's talking about how he picked up the win over Sledge, and who shows up but Shane Taylor Promotions with the shirt, welcoming him to the group. So the one faction that didn't have 4 people now has 4 people. And if that wasn't enough, they have a couple weeks ago, they gave us the brackets for Survival of the Fittest tournament that's going to be coming back. And lo and behold, in our first round, O'Shea Edwards versus, you're going to have a first round matchup in the Survival of the Fittest of Ray Horace versus Flamita. But when they did the promo videos, it didn't say Flamita. It said Demonic Flamita. And he's now wearing a black mask. And he's talking about how he's going to destroy Ray Horace and how Mexa Squad is done forever. And Ray Horace is replying saying, this is not going to be what you think. You're not getting an easy win. I'm here to fight. I'm going to take you out. This is the continuing implosion of Mexa Squad, but now we have Demonic Flamita. I think this is going to be a very interesting twist, especially because Ray Horace pointed out. He says, we worked as Technicos. Now you're putting on a black mask and you're trying to work as a Rudo. I don't know if this is going to work for you, buddy. So now we know for sure that Flamita has definitely turned. What do you think about this continuing implosion of Mexa Squad? And if you got to pick somebody, who do you pick?
Honestly, with the fact that now his attitude's changed and they're going all in with this heel turn, I'm gonna go with Demonic Flamita. I guess I call him. Yeah, like he's gonna get this win. In my opinion, he's gonna get this win by any means necessary. I see Ray Horace trying to get the victory, definitely out of whatever ill feelings that there was with Flamita turning his back on Bandito and Ray Horace. So Ray Horace is going out there to fight for the respect and the pride of what was Mexa Squad. But I feel as though Flamita is just that he's going to go out there and just be hella disrespectful. This is going to be extremely disrespectful. And it sucks because I think he's going to be a victim as far as Ray Horace. Like he's going to be literally something. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know something bad is going to happen to Ray Horace. That it leads to another match, in my opinion, with Bandito versus Flamita again. Fighting for the pride of his probably going to be injured, taken off for a little bit, his friend and Ray Horace, but that just progresses the story that how bad or how serious this implosion of Mecha Squad is. I'm just waiting to see it. I can't wait to see. You know how much you guys know how much I love Sleeper. You know my mass wrestling. You know how much I love it. So there's no doubt in my mind that this match is going to be a banger. It's just whatever progressing story that they're going to tell. I'm just waiting to see how that all pans out.
Absolutely, especially because on that left side of the bracket with Ray Horus and Flamita, we have Bandito versus Bateman. So that's going to be a way to get Bandito into that final match to see how exactly these two are going to just create chaos. But if we're talking about creating chaos, well, there's somebody who just wants us to know that, you know, every chaos is fine, but, you know, like wrestling is cool. Especially women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is really cool. Like, you know, you got to be happy that, you know, you're there and that your opponent's there. That's not to say that you got to take people lightly or anything like that, but you got to be able to fight. You got to be able to compete. And that's really what somebody by the name of Willow is all about. And this week on our Women of Honor Wednesday match, we have Willow taking on Alex Gracia. Now, Alex Gracia is somebody who has appeared on AEW Dark and Elevation a bit. She's also somebody who has appeared in the NWA a little bit. She's a pretty decently well-known women's wrestler when it comes to the indie scene. And here she is pitting herself against Willow to try to get the win and try to impress Maria to get that ticket to gold. This was a really fun match. I liked this one a lot. I didn't have that like crazy expectations for this one because while I kind of knew Alex Gracia a little bit, I didn't really know that much about Willow. And I thought the promo video was hilarious. I was just like, what is this girl is entertaining as hell. So they're having the match and Willow is, I'm like, okay, wow, like this girl can work. Like this is really, really good. And the best part of it was like she for her character, she is somebody who just talks to her opponent throughout the match. And because there's no crowd, the mics are picking it up, and that's making it even better. So that was a really, really good a highlight or enhancement to the match. I like this one a lot. Willow picks up the win, and then afterwards, while she is having a backstage interview, we see Maria come and give her the ticket to gold. She will be in the women's tournament going forward. Ness, what did you think about this one?
This was the match overall. I can't say that it was probably my favorite. I'm not saying it was my favorite match, but the showing out of Willow, she has been my favorite individual as far as the women have gone in their showings in this whole tournament, or just, you know, Women of Honor, the whole revamping. I'm very familiar with her. Actually, you know, this is the mark in me. I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Hey.
So I have a little bit of history of not knowing her personally, but knowing of who she is and what she's about and seeing her perform. And this just even surprised me even more because she went out there and put on a hell of a performance. She had the personality, just like she said, personality is big as her hair. She had the technical prowess. She had the power in her favor. I guess, you know, just being just big, yeah, pretty much just being bigger in size over Alex Gracia, but actually know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You can always be big, but as we've seen in wrestling, you know, not even just with the women, but in men as well, they don't know, not everyone knows what to do with their size. And she knew exactly what to do with her size. And she can do power moves. She was doing submission holds and just everywhere. She hit you. She can hit hard, just everything. And then on top of that, she has the personality. She has the character to talk to you and to draw you in and get you invested in herself. So like, I was just like, this whole match, this basically was Willow's match to lose, and like she really didn't, in my opinion. No slight to Alex Gracia, she definitely had her moments, but I was just more so not more so amazed, but just more interested and invested in Willow showing in this match, and to so much that immediately after the match, you know, they usually do the video calls, you know, and like however long it is after the match, you know, whenever they do it, it's not directly after the match where Maria is contacting these individuals like, well, it is right after the match, but not like literally after they had the match, and they're all still in, the Ring of Honor setting where she lets them know that, here's your chance at it, in the women's tournament. This was the first time that someone was literally given a ticket to gold right after their match, like literally with the sweat still on them. So that, in my opinion, to me, that says a lot about the performance that Willow put on, the how high that Maria is on Willow, and just like the Ring of Honor management, like she really went out there, showed what she can do, put on a hell of a performance. Like, again, that was probably my favorite performance out of any of the women and the revamping of Women of Honor so far. I definitely can't wait to see where she goes in this tournament. I'm hoping she's matched up against someone that's just as charismatic, just as good in the ring, so we can get hopefully a classic, a potential match of the year as far as women's wrestling goes, and just wrestling period. But kudos to Willow. I'm definitely looking out for her. Definitely want to give her props and give her flowers, because again, that was definitely one of my favorite, probably my favorite showing of any of the women. Again, it's more so one-sided, because Gracia, she definitely, she had her moments, but again, this was definitely Willow's moment to shine. So kudos to her.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite spot is when they had to like get low, and then she gets her up for that suplex, that bridging suplex, and goes for the pin attempt. And that one's, I was like, damn, that is, because she really had to lift Alex to do that, and she did. And I was like, damn, this girl has power. This girl has strength. I want to see her matched up against some of these people. And that's going to be something really looking forward to. And that's like, I don't know when exactly this tournament's supposed to start. They're still giving out tickets to gold. I would hope that Best in the World is in July. I think it's towards the end of July. So they got a little bit of time if they want to get a couple more people in. But they gotta start picking up the pace here if they're gonna get it, because they keep saying this is a tournament for the summer. A tournament for the summer. Well, I mean, summer's here, so let's get the ball rolling. But that's guys. That's for another day. That's for a future episode of Fusion of Honor, where we will be talking about how exactly Willow is just kind of questioning why her opponent would think to do that. That's kind of weird. Oh, let me suplex you in response. But until then, guys, we're going to sign off for now. Ness, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at skinny__Kravitz. Catch me right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. One half of review of, Fusion of Honor. I almost forgot, because it's like a little bit of Fusion, MLW Fusion news, but a lot of Ring of Honor news. Fusion of Honor, my man is StatKing, man of 1,004 numbers, where we review MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. You can catch me on Blunt Impact and Joints and Jabronis with my man Chris G. You can also catch me on NX3 with, once again, Chris G and Romeo Anthony Colon, where we review NXT. The Roundtable Rebels, catch me on the Roundtables. And as always, you can hear my illustrious voice on True Toxicity.
Yeah, guys, and you can catch me on Dark Power, where we run down everything that happens on AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, and NWA Power. So for myself, for the three-time baby-making champ Ness, we are signing off. Until next time, take care of yourselves, guys, and each other. Peace.